All right, good day, Logic class. Welcome to Logic for 5/6 of 2020. In the background, that is a painting done by Ava of the biblical figure Samson, the one who tore down the building after his hair regrew. Dylan, I wanted to let you know I'm wearing my Christiana hoodie. No snowflake today. See, I do have different shirts. We are going to today hit on 8.4, which will complete the 7 rules for determining validity of a syllogism. We've covered the first four in the last 2 weeks. I did fail to give you a has, apparently, or upload a has for last week, so you will have a little bit of homework from 8.3 and from 8.4 for this coming week. Don't worry, it's certainly not too much, though. We've covered the first 4 rules over the last 2 weeks, as I said, so you can listen to the previous 2 lectures to look at them, or you can just look up the rules at the beginning of 8.2 and 8.3. Last week's lessons, where we had to deal with distributed and undistributed terms, was probably the hardest of the 3 lessons. This is by far the easiest of them. Rules 5, 6, and 7 are not difficult to follow. I'm just going to simply read them to you right now. Rule number 5, no conclusion can follow 2 negative premises. That is to say, if your major and minor premise are both E's, both O's, or EO or OE, any combination thereof, if you have 2 negative premises, there's nothing that can validly be drawn from that. Just can't happen. So, if you have 2 negative premises, there can be no conclusion. The syllogism is invalid if it tries to give you a conclusion. Rule number 6, if the premises are positive, then the conclusion has to be positive. If you have 2 A premises, an A and an I and an A, or 2 I's, any combination thereof, all 4 of those combinations, all positive premises, then your conclusion must be positive. It must be an A or an I proposition also. If the conclusion is an E or an O in those circumstances, your syllogism is invalid. Rule number 7. If one of your 2 premises is a negative, if either premise is an E or an O, then the conclusion must also be negative. There can be no positive conclusion. There can be no A or I proposition as a conclusion if either of your premises are E's or O's. That is simply all to the last 3 rules of determining the validity of a syllogism. So, what we can say about these final 3 rules is that they're all very heavily associated with the conclusion. And when you're testing the validity of a syllogism, it is probably fair, look at the conclusion first. Determine if, by looking at that, the syllogism breaks any of these final 3 rules. If you look at the conclusion and it's negative, and you look up and you see 2 positive premises, 2 A's, 2 I's, or some combination thereof, it's invalid. If you look at your conclusion and see that it's negative, and your 2 premises were both A's or I's, or whatever, then it has to be invalid. All right? And again, rule number 5 is that if you have 2 negative premises, there is no conclusion which can be validly drawn from that. The syllogism is invalid. So I will make sure I upload a has for this time, and you will have a small bit of homework in 8.3 and 8.4. Both exercises are exercises where they will give you a syllogism, and you must determine which rules, if any, the syllogism breaks. So they're either valid or invalid, and if they're invalid, you have to determine why they're invalid. As always, I'm available to help you with your homework. Send me an email or give me a call, and I'd be more than happy to talk you through any problems that you're having. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye-bye.